Next on Worcester News tonight, District 5 City Council candidates prepare for their upcoming election. Plus, Chick-Fil-A giving back to the community one day before its grand opening. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. The countdown to Worcester's municipal election is on, and we're just 13 days away. Tonight, candidates for Worcester District 5 went face-to-face in a panel discussion as they get ready for Election Day. Our Cam Jandro was there tonight and has more. Cam?
Anna, like District 1, District 5 will also elect a new city councilor this year. Tonight, I caught up with both of its candidates, Paul Franco and Matt Wally. District 5 City Council candidates Paul Franco and Matt Wally answer questions from a panel Wednesday. This is Wally's second City Council campaign and Franco's third run for public office. If elected, Franco and Wally have a few similar priorities for their district.
I want to make sure South High is built on time and on budget. The Doherty High approval process continues, making sure our streets and sidewalks are well maintained.
We want to make sure that there's a new South in Doherty High that's designed and located that will stand the test of time. We want to spend time developing the undeveloped properties on Park Avenue and Mill Street.
The candidates took on the topics of taxes, economic development, and public safety. Their biggest disagreement was on taxes, specifically on the city's dual tax rate separating homeowners and businesses.
My opponent wants a single tax rate. We're against it. We're against it because it'll raise homeowners' taxes by 20%.
Ever since the city went to a dual tax rate, the amount of taxes paid for by the business community has shrunk by 15%. So who's left to pay for that? The residents.
Wally finished first in September's primary with 44% of the vote, while Franco is second with 28%. Franco and Wally are running for the seat left open by current District 5 Councilor Gary Rosen, who is seeking an at-large spot.
And I plan to approach my job as being their voice at City Hall. So if they're looking to have someone who will stand up for their rights at City Hall, I think they should vote for me on November 7th.
If you come to me with a problem, I'm going to take care of you, no questions asked. I've been doing it my entire life, and I'd be honored if the folks of District 5 give me that opportunity.
Now, voter turnout in September's primary was very low, only hitting 10%. Both Wally and Franco tell me they hope to see that number increase come November. Anna?
Thanks, Cam. Well, with just 2 weeks to go until voters hit the polls, the Worcester NAACP hosts its second Councilor at-Large Candidate Forum. The discussion was held at the Worcester Youth Center Wednesday. The focus of this debate was labor. The NAACP says their goal in having these candidate forums is to encourage all eligible voters to exercise their voice, their power, and their right to vote. City Councilor Soraya Rivera is sponsoring an order asking the city to identify potential affordable housing options for hurricane victims. She says hundreds of people are resettling to Worcester, but many aren't able to find a place to live. Rivera says many who come to Worcester are staying with friends and family. She's hoping the city can partner with neighboring communities and organizations to come up with potential housing opportunities.
You know, having conversations of out-of-the-box thinking, what do providing shelters, people hosting families, you know, faith-based communities, looking at the possibility of having some sort of like dormitory, some areas that, you know, may not be utilized in some of the colleges to be able to house some folks.
The Worcester Public Schools have enrolled roughly 50 kids into city schools. Rivera says the number is expected to rise, along with the number of people looking for work. She adds these are U.S. citizens who are able to work. She says the goal of the order is to let people know Worcester is welcoming to anyone in need. Well, Chick-Fil-A in Worcester officially opens Thursday, but one day ahead of the big opening, the restaurant focuses on giving back. Owner Chris Spring was born and raised in Worcester. He says he wants to start off his new business with service. Usually when a new Chick-fil-A store opens up, the first 100 customers wait in line overnight and participate in games and raffles. In the morning, they file into the restaurant and receive a pass for 1 year of free meals. Spring decided instead to take people waiting in line on a community service bus tour Wednesday. The tour included bringing meals to nearby shelters, cleaning up the fields at Bell Pond, boxing up 10,000 meals to distribute to Worcester's food pantry, and put school supply packs together for Chandler Elementary School students. Spring, along with volunteers, were happy to give back.
And never explain. It comes from right in here, you know?
I'm blessed with this opportunity to run this business in Worcester, and I really want to just return it back to the folks here in the city. People, especially groups that do good work for good people.
Chick-Fil-A will officially open its doors tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Well, a trial date is set for the alleged gunman in the 2015 shooting of a former North High School football player. The trial for 20-year-old Emil Encarnacio will be held on December 4th. He's charged with the murder in the shooting death of Sam Castro. 18-year-old Castro was gunned down back in May of 2015 while walking on Frederick Street. 3 other men are charged in connection to the murder. The Ebenezer Church in Worcester has purchased the former People in Peril shelter on Main Street. The former PIP shelter closed in 2013 after a 2-story building on Queen Street was built in its place, offering a shelter and support services. According to Kelleher and Sandowski, the real estate company which brokered the deal, Ebenezer Church purchased the building from Smock Tuesday for $380,000. Well, imagine being one of the top competitors in the state and still not being able to win a tournament because of your gender. Well, it's exactly what happened to a Lunenburg female high school golfer. Susan Tran has the story.
Emily Nash's swing has caught the attention of strangers since she was 10, tagging along with her dad at the driving range.
Every time we would go, somebody would make their way over and say, wow, she has a great swing. Now, she'd never had a lesson.
Now at 16, her game is on par with the boys. Actually, it's even better.
I had a lead on the front 9, and then as I kept playing, I kind of just extended the lead.
Emily played with her Lunenburg High School team at the Central Mass Boys Golf Tournament Tuesday. She scored a 75, besting the second-place golfer by 4 strokes.
They announced that I won and stuff like that, but they said, but I can't necessarily have the title, so they gave it to the second-place guy, and then he offered the trophy to me, which was super nice and classy of him.
The NMIAA rule says girls can play. Their scores will count towards the overall team score, but girls cannot win the tournament or advance to the state competition.
We knew she couldn't advance on the states, but we did not know that she could not win this tournament as an individual.
At this tournament, Emily was one of the guys playing from their tees in all of the same conditions.
They hit it like 100 yards past me, and I kind of have to use my short game and everything to help make up for it.
She's the 3rd best player in Massachusetts, a scratch golfer who practices daily and competes every weekend. She knows who came out on top on Tuesday and says she'll just play through this disappointing rough patch.
It was pretty important to me to win this tournament because I've never beaten straight up just a bunch of boys before.
Susan Tran, Worcester News Tonight.
Built almost 100 years ago, Abbeys House in Worcester is in need of some major renovations. The organization is now raising money to provide the women it helps with a better experience. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
A house helping women in the Worcester area for decades is now in need of help itself.
We have wait lists for women who need housing, and so we know this is needed.
Abbeys House in Worcester announced Wednesday a $2 million capital campaign to renovate their building on High Street. Up to 54 women can live here, but the facility built in the 1920s is showing its age.
We'll make it accessible both for people coming into the building and throughout the building.
Executive Director Stephanie Page says Abbeys House has provided shelter, housing, and support services for more than 13,000 women. Right now, there is only 1 kitchen and 1 laundry room. They're hoping to put one on every floor.
People come to Abbeys when they have no place else to go, no place else to turn, and our doors are open, and they can come in and they can find a safe place.
Parley Jones says 90% of the women they see have had some experience with domestic violence. Jones says women need to know there is help available.
Maybe they've been living with this violence in their life, but maybe now they'll get the message that, you know what, there's places that I can get support.
So far, the organization has raised $1.1 million for the renovations.
It's important that women not have to be on the streets or live in unsafe situations.
Rosalind Flaherty,